Hey, Chris Liepe here. Can anyone learn to sing and sing well? Before I answer this question, I'm making this video because I get a lot of comments on other videos, and these comments go something like this. How to sing like Freddie Mercury. Step 1, you can't. Or it might be how to sing like Chris Cornell. Step 1, don't even try. Or another comment that's more generic might be you either have it or you don't. Or singing, you either can or can't. Translated, you're either naturally born with a great voice and to be a singer. You're naturally born with a singer's voice. And if you don't have that voice without trying, then you will never be a good singer. That's what these are all sort of saying, right?
I love you, can't you see? And those were days of roses, poetry and prose, and Martha, all I had was you, and all you had was me. There was no tomorrows, we packed away our sorrows, and we saved them for a rainy day.
And I sort of get the comments, how to sing like Jared Leto, ... return, gap, you can't, or whatever. I sort of get those because it's easy to go down the road of like, well, you're never going to sound like this guy, so why try? But in this particular case, there's this sort of defensiveness that comes off in the comment, and also a defeatist mindset that really permeates everything that I'm talking about. I'm going to elaborate on this in a minute. But first of all, if we're studying another vocalist, we're pulling from the things that they do and how they sound, but we're not trying to be that vocalist. If I am going to train like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I fully am aware that I'm not going to look like The Rock. But I might train and do some of the things that he does, pull some lifestyle habits from him or some weightlifting techniques or diet techniques so that I can see what happens with my own body if I go on a similar routine. So those comments, how to sing like, yes, everybody can sing like someone else. Everybody can do things like another person. This is possible. You'll get different results because you're a different person, but you'll be better for it. You'll be a better, more self-aware person by internalizing the habits or what you perceive to be good traits in another person, in another singer. But let's go back to the first group of comments. Those people who say, basically, if you aren't a good singer, you'll never be a good singer. Or you either have it or you don't, that kind of thing. In order to fully illustrate the ridiculousness and self-defeating mindset that this kind of way of looking at singing suggests and how poisoning it can be, I want to use a couple other commonly learned skills and draw some parallels. Now, really, there's an admission to this, you either can or you can't, or you have it or you don't, or there's an admission, and they may not think that this is the case, but what they're really saying is, one, I don't have the knowledge, or I'd have no idea where to start to take this voice that is not a singing voice, and I really may have a little bit of desire to, but I'm too lazy, and I'm willing to just cut it off and just put that out there so that I have an excuse to not grow in that area of life. Singing, in this case. Common grumblings I hear. I can't carry a tune to save my life. I know the quality of my voice, and it's horrible. My problem is I just hate the sound of my voice, and nothing I do can ever change that. Everyone tells me I sound bad when I sing, or even when I talk, and that I sound too nasal, and that I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm not even going to try. I'm going to listen to those people who care about me. If you really feel that way, then yeah, choose not to sing. Go do something else. But if you're choosing not to sing, or you're not interested, or you really think you're horrible and there's no hope for you, why are you watching a video? Or why are you engaging with a vocal coach or another singer or musicians? There's got to be a little bit of something there. Riding a bike. You either can or you can't. You either have the balance or you don't. You either know how to ride a bike or you'll never be able to ride a bike. What? It's true that if you don't know how to ride a bike, you can't ride a bike. This is a true statement. It's also true that if you haven't learned the balance to ride a bike, you can't ride a bike. So if you haven't learned to do something, you can't do it. This is true. But we don't say like, oh, I can't naturally jump on the bike, and so I can't ride a bike. You either have it or you don't. That's just, we've shown that over and over again, right? Now, you may not end up being, once you learn how to ride a bike, you may not ride your bike professionally or be someone who rides your bike all the time and is very good at it, a certain type of bike riding. Maybe you're a mountain biker or whatever. But and that's where we can get into comparisons and not being willing to deal with your own experience and singing or doing whatever you're doing merely for the wonderful shared experience of doing whatever you're doing. But with the right steps and education and discipline and practice, you'll learn to ride a bike. And you could be really good at riding a bike. Good enough to enjoy it and do things with it, with yourself and with others. Shaving. Oh, you either know how to shave or you don't. That's true. If you don't know how to shave, you don't know how to shave. and if you just pick up a razor for the very first time and you start without knowing how things are supposed to work, you probably cut yourself. In fact, while you're learning, you'll probably cut yourself. You probably will learn all sorts of other things like how often should you shave? Well, that depends on how fast your hair grows and what the oils are like in your skin and what kind of razor you're using. There's all sorts of these intricacies that you discover along the way as you put yourself out there as willing to become a student in this particular area. I'm not going to learn how to shave because I could damage my face. Yes, you could damage your face. But if you go through things mindfully and carefully, and you're willing to learn about your body and how to take care of it, then you'll probably be fine. I know these sound ridiculous, this is on purpose. I want them to be ridiculous because people apply the same thing to singing. I love this one. Tying your shoes. If you think about tying your shoes, it's not a natural thing at all. It is something, and having two kids that I've had to help tie their shoes for years, but also teach them how to tie their shoes. This is something that you have to learn the coordination, and you have to carefully, with fingers that are not designed to loop things in and around, you have to do things in a certain way to get the right knot and the right lengths of the bows and the extra and all that stuff. And there's so many things that, this pair of shoes ties different than this pair of shoes. And I tie my shoes differently when I'm in a hurry and then they come untied. And there's all sorts of little subtleties. But at the end of the day, tying your shoes, though a somewhat intricate process, can be something that ends up happening because you've worked to learn it and improves your quality of life, especially as a kid. Once you pass over from having to be dependent on someone else to tie your shoes versus tying your own shoes and being able to do it yourself. Driving a car. This is another great one too, especially a manual transmission car. The first time you get in a manual transmission car and you try to drive it, it's very tempting to be like, oh, wow, that's really awkward and not natural and weird. But you know what? Once you learn all the intricate considerations and sort of muscle memory aspects with your own muscles and the muscle memory of the car and the clutch and the transmission and the interaction with the torque curve and all these things that are happening in the manual transmission, once you really learn all these balances, it's one fun dance. Can anyone learn to sing and sing well? Yes! You may not be a professional singer or a famous singer or a prolific songwriter, but if you want to learn to sing, if you're inspired by other singers and you want to be able to inspire others through your voice, there are lots of ways to do that. And I can help you as a vocal coach. That's what I do. Join my free course. Let me help you. Get into some conversations on my YouTube channel. Join my free singing Facebook group. Yes, there are lots of singers out there who are naturally talented and seem to just kind of open their mouth and amazing notes come out. And they've already learned how to do these runs, and they can sing really high, and they can express really, really well. And it just seems like they just have it. And so I get it. I get it where, you've got this 15-year-old who opens their mouth and sings amazing. And you might be over here monotone and not able to even hear pitch going, yeah, you either have it or you don't. I get it. But it's not true. It is a defeatist mindset that is easy to fall into. But if you want to sing, don't say that. Don't let that be where things stop. And if you don't want to sing, rather than saying you either have it or you don't, just say, I don't want to learn. Just say that. Or don't say anything at all. If you want to learn how to sing and sing well, check out my Good Singers versus Bad Singers video, also on YouTube. But learn to be expressive and emotive with the way that you speak and with the way that you interact with music. So here's the first step. Simply put on some instrumental music and start expressively speaking over it. Don't try to hit pitches. Don't try to be good. Just be expressive. Yeah, it's going to feel a little goofy. It's going to seem a little goofy. But what makes a great voice is the fact that that vocalist knows how to first and foremost be expressive and relatable with their voice. As an instrument, yes, but this is the first step. So, throw off that defeatist mindset. Experience your voice for an expressive instrument that it is. Throwing off all comparisons, throwing off all self-doubt, and see what happens.